In the airline business, redundancy is what makes a twin-engine aircraft work. And the lack of redundancies that we got right now here at Oroville that makes this situation extra tense. This is Chris Orrick. He's going to help us understand a lot of the technical questions here at Oroville. I'm going to talk it over with him, and then I'll share with you what I got. What do you do? What's your position?
I'm the Public Information Officer for the Oroville Spillway Incident for the California Department of Water Resources.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to grill him a little bit here and see what we find out. Okay, I just got done with the press briefing here at the Oroville Dam site, and the evacuation warning is going to remain in effect, well, kind of indefinitely for now. A series of events are going to have to come back together before they lift that warning. Right now, the reservoir is stabilized at 849 feet, and here's the numbers from Bill Croyle this morning. 11 a.m., they got 50,000 CFS in, cubic feet per second on the inflows. On the outflows, they've got 60,000 cubic feet per second over, and that's all over the busted spillway. And they've reached that target level of 850 feet on the reservoir. Now, with this rain happening today and tomorrow as well in the high Sierras, they're expecting those inflows to increase to about 110,000 cubic feet per second, and the outflow to remain at 60,000 cubic feet per second. So more water in than going out. They're expecting about a 5-foot bump in the elevation of the reservoir. So it's going to bump on up to about 855 feet. Should be no problem with this weather currently. Snow levels are dropping. That's going to help tremendously. We've lost a number of redundancies here on the reservoir, and that's what makes this situation so tense right now. And I got a little more new information today by attending this briefing. Like Bill Croyle says, there's 3 ways to get the water out of this reservoir. The third way, the emergency spillway, is still at this time and for the future is going to remain an absolute last-ditch effort emergency procedure only. Despite all the effort they're putting into armoring that emergency spillway, they're not going to use that thing until the last resort, and they're certainly not planning on ever using it again if they can prevent it. He's got 4 different priority areas on the emergency spillway that they've been dropping rock and shotcrete into, and priority area 1 is 100% completed, priority area 2 is 45% completed, priority area 3 is 100% completed, and priority area 4 is 95% completed. Nevertheless, that emergency spillway is going to be for emergency use only. By the way, I'm going to polish this presentation up on YouTube with the Google Maps, so it'll make a little more sense as to what all I'm talking about. But if you've been following along, you should be able to understand. So once this weather passes and inflows begin to decrease, when the conditions are right, they're going to take the outflow down the emergency spillway and begin to reduce it, and potentially reduce it all the way down to 0. Why? They've got to get in there and clean out the debris that's filled up the Thermalito diversion pool at the base of the busted spillway. Get that debris out of there to get the Hyatt power plant reopened. And I got a lot of new information on that Hyatt power plant. They take equipment on barges and move it in there and dig that equipment out, dig that debris out of the diversion pool. Right now, with that debris in there, the water level has risen to the point where they can't use the Hyatt power plant. A couple things about that Hyatt power plant. They can't run water out of that Hyatt power plant unless that power plant is connected to the grid. They cannot run water through that power plant unless the turbines are connected to the grid. In other words, they cannot bypass those turbines. That all has to be connected to the grid before they can run water through that power plant. And that's about 12 to 16,000 cubic feet per second. Not a lot, but that's your number 2 option for getting water out of this reservoir. And that option is off the table right now until they get the debris cleaned out and they get the power plant reconnected to the grid. So the question I asked at the briefing was, what's the power source for the gates to control the main spillway? And is it connected to the Hyatt power plant? Well, no, it's not connected to the Hyatt power plant, but the power source is a main PG&E line, which has been removed because of the problem at the emergency spillway. So the power that controls the gates at the emergency spillway is on backup power and redundant power, and I couldn't get a straight answer from him as to what those power sources are, but it involves generators, and I couldn't get a straight answer as to where those generators are located. So they're down to backup and redundant power to control the gates of the main spillway, which is compromised severely to the tune of 60,000 cubic feet per second. So that's how we got down to less than one option to get water out of the Oroville spillway, to get water out of the Oroville reservoir. So I'll polish this up, get it on YouTube to you later on tonight, and we'll see you here, and as I get more information, I'll pass it on to you.